Pablo, light it up.
I had to buy the Porsche when I was young. Trap. I had to buy the Porsche when I was young. Trap. Got it out the mud, all they ever wanted was a plug. All my niggas thugs, money coming, gotta get it up.
What's up, sports fans? It's your man D back. Speak Your Mind Sports Talk. All right, check it out. We talking boxing. Boxing's back. Pretty much back. Fights get ready to come around. But here's the thing. Are the fans' expectations on boxing returning too high? You know, are the fans leading themselves potentially to disappointment? For the love of sports, let's talk about it. So I got the link in the chat for anybody who want to come join today's discussion. But, you know, reading a lot of articles, listening to channels and such, I'm just finding out that, you know, it seems like a lot of fans are leading themselves to disappointment on a return of boxing. It feels, you know, I hear a lot of people talking about this fight and that fight. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure if we're going to get a lot of these fights that people are expecting to get. And fans, maybe the expectations for what we're about to receive may be a bit too high. So let me see who we got up here in the building. My man Ralph from Real in the building. What's good with you, Ralph? Appreciate you coming through, fam. Andre, what's up, Andre? What's good with you, fam? Carlos Mendoza, what's up? Carlos Boxing Monster in the building. What's up, Boxing Monster? And my brother, my blood brother, my fam, K Harvey in the building. What's up, bro? Appreciate y'all coming through. So, yeah, guys, so just looking at a lot of what's going on around the boxing world, and I don't know, these notifications are killing me. Che Powell, my son in the building. What's up, son? Appreciate you coming through. They're not sending any of these notifications out. But looking at boxing and the return, I mean, Bob Arum has been out. He's been vocal. Eddie Hearn has been vocal about, you know, his plans and everything moving forward. And just when we take all of this into account, guys, I was looking at Bob Arum's cards that he has planned. You know, there are not a lot of great fights. And I think that, you know, I hear people talking about, well, we're going to see this fight, we're going to see that fight. We got to understand a lot of these fights are going to be guys that we've never heard of. So expect to see that. We may get one or two good, you know, name caliber fighters on per card, because these guys are going to try to stretch these things out. Everything's going to be a main event. Anybody with a spectacle of a big name, they're going to be a main event or a co-main event. And they're going to showcase a lot of these boxers we never heard of. And I think that that's what we should expect, at least in the near future, for the return of boxing. Yeah, they're going to talk about big fights, the Teofimo, the Spence, the Garcias, and all of this. But, man, we're not getting those fights until mid to late fall. And that's for sure. You may get some little fights here that of decent names. You know, they got Shakur fighting. But these bigger fights, it appears to me that these promoters, and I mean all of them, are holding out and trying to see what the government is going to do about allowing fans to return. And they may be stalling too to see what happens with the NFL, because for all of you guys that don't know, as far as television network is concerned, and I was reading an article on this too, amazing how the NFL has killed television in America. It used to be baseball at one point in time. Baseball was, you know, America's pastime, number one sport. They're still the highest paid players, you know, in general. But baseball's taking a hit because a lot of what baseball brings in is the fans coming into the stadium. Their revenue coming from stadium and people supporting that way is massive. So now that they can't get that revenue, baseball's in shambles right now. But football is $16 billion a season revenue. Television revenue was 8.8 million, guys. Baseball's revenue was 1.7 million. And that's the thing, bro. Like, it is so crazy how much I didn't know that the NFL was that far ahead of everyone else. And the NBA, as far as television, is actually second, 2.6 billion. So it's not even close to the NFL, nowhere close. So boxing, guys, like, we're way down there. We're way down there. So they can't spend a lot of money on these fighters, the fighters that we want to see. The promoters in these networks, they just can't spend the money on those guys. They can't. And, you know, I hear a lot of these talks, but if you notice, if you look at the articles, you listen to the interviews with Eddie Hearn, Floyd even, Bob Arum, you know, one thing they all have in common that all of these guys are saying is that, well, we're going to see what happens when the fans come back, when the fans come back, when the fans come back. Well, what if the fans don't come back? What if this thing is extended and extended and extended? See, how long are we going to wait for the fight? And as far as a lot of people crying about we won't get the 4-belt undisputed at heavyweight, there's a good chance they may blow that waiting for the fans to come back. And I just think, you know, with the atmosphere of the pandemic and the sports community in general, not just boxing, I just think that a lot of fans may be setting themselves up for disappointment. That's how I'm kind of feeling. Like, they may be setting themselves up for disappointment. High expectations, like, you know, now that boxing is back, because a lot of these fights, guys, I don't think they're going to happen. I'm beginning to think that they're not going to happen. And, you know, I could be wrong. But the money that's involved and the way that these promoters are talking, and the fact that I keep, because, you know, like a lot of you guys, I'm always on Twitter or Boxing Scene or Boxing 24 or whatever, man. Searching and reading articles and listening to videos, and they keep saying the same thing, all of them. When the fans return, when the fans return. But that phrase is also being associated with high caliber fights. See, you don't hear them saying anything about that with Shakur Stevenson or Virgil Ortiz, or, you know what I mean? But when there's a high caliber fight immediately, well, when the fans return, and we're optimistic for the fans returning, but they're basing the fight happening on that factor. And that's why I say I'm excited for boxing to return, but I also have this expectation that things are not going to be really smooth concerning the fans and what we want to see. Tune Up City, every fight is over 10-1 favorite, right? Mike, just watch the call. Yeah, exactly. And this is what we better get used to. We better get used to that. And they'll pepper in. I believe that this type of card, this type of action is what we're going to get. And then they'll pepper in here and there some good challenging fights. But a lot of these guys, my man Justin Trouble up in the building. What's good with you? Scott Brown, what's up, fam? Will AJ get a tune-up in British Backyard Fighting Championship? Who knows? Some people consider Kubrat Pulev a tune-up. I don't know, man, if they don't drop this travel ban. But I heard that Lomachenko's getting ready to travel. So I don't know, man. I think AJ, whatever he does, Scott Brown, AJ is not going to risk. AJ and Hearn, they're not going to risk losing that belt. So I will say that about AJ. Now, if there's a travel ban still up, I'm pretty sure the sanction, everybody's not going to snatch the belt, because of the pandemic and all of that. Maybe a lawsuit behind that. But when they lifted travel bans and he can travel and everything, and the fact that they've already had the layoff, these sanctioning bodies, they need to make their money too. So these fights have to happen. So I don't think that they're going to do anything to risk losing that belt, being that they're so close, whether we get it or not, because I'm not feeling as optimistic as I was at one point. But whether we get the 4-belt undisputed or not, they need to have everything in place so that when that fight happens, Wilder Joshua, if he can miraculously win this trilogy, and we definitely don't get it if that bastard wins. I tell you that right now. If Wilder wins, we might as well start looking at Josh Taylor, Naoya Inoue, and Canelo if any of those two idiots ever unify down there. Because I bet you this, I'll say this too. With Canelo Alvarez, I guarantee you, if either one of those other two guys unified, Canelo probably would fight the third guy and set that up for 4-belt. I bet you he would do it immediately. Like say Charlo and GGG said, F it. Let's just go in here and fight and unify. And then they unify. I bet you Canelo will go fight Demetrius Andre because he would set it up. Golden Boy then will set it up for 4-belt undisputed between whoever the winner of the other 2 belts was. Or he would simply go fight the winner of immediately. If any of those champions unify, it would ignite the 160 division. But all they want to do is sit around and cry on Canelo and wait for Canelo. But anyway, I'm not getting back into that. Let's go back into the topic of the day. Let me put the link back in the chat just in case anybody want to jump on. All right. And so for instance, like with the Teofimo Lopez situation and Bob Arum and all of that foolery he was doing. When Bob Arum came out talking about Lomachenko needs a tune-up and all of this garbage, I knew that he was starting to delay that fight. I said, this fight is going to be delayed. Something's going to happen with the fight. And we almost, it was a time there, we almost didn't get that fight. But, almost only count horseshoes and hand grenades. So we good. The fight's supposedly back on. Well, Bob Arum has come out plenty of times. And in every article, every interview I've listened to Bob Arum, he has stated 2 things. The cost on these events, and I mean, he goes down to detail on the cost. He talked about having to pay for the cast rooms, their meals, and put forth some entertainment or some shit I was talking about all of this, the lighting. He breaks down everything, but he always talks about the cost. And then he always talks about the fans. Every time. Go listen to Bob Arum. Go read his article. The cost and the fans returning. So I just come to the conclusion that when it comes to Bob Arum, if the money ain't right, the fight's not happening. And right now, we're in a vulnerable time for boxing, number one. And every fight they make, every card they put on, every event they throw is high risk. And you dealing with a guy like Bob Arum, man, there's a lot of fights over at Top Rank. People are going to start hating Bob Arum again. Like, people were loving him for a while because, say what you want to say, Bob was putting on some good fights. But people get ready to start hating Bob Arum again because, dog, that dude's not going to pay the money. I'm going to tell you that right now. We're not going to see Lomachenko. Lopez is done. Cut it out, monster. Cut it out. I'm sitting here talking about this, breaking this down with these promoters and the money, and here you go talking about a boxer ducking. Is it going in one ear and out of the other? Boxing monster? What am I up here talking for my health? Eh? Come on. Dude, man. Yeah. Who that? Who that, Andre? What you talking about looking like a monster? Who that? Teofimo? Teofimo Lopez? Monster talking that crazy, boxing monster talking that crazy shit. What's up, Chin Smoke? What's up with your fam? Scott Brown says, who will be the best Brit in the backyard? Wow. You know, we were just talking about that the other day. I did a spotlight live on British fighters. I don't know, man. It's hard to say. It's hard to say, bro. I like the dude, Joe Cordina. I like the way he look. I like the way he move. Of course, Daniel Dubois is pretty promising. We just have to see, you know. We just say, hey, Sean, how you doing? We just have to see how. Same old. But I don't know, Sean. Who do you think? Who do you like mostly for the future British fighter right now?
You mean like established or just up and comer?
Up and comer future fighter, and it could be pretty much any weight class.
I think Buatsi is definitely one to watch.
Joshua,
light heavyweight. He's got a good skill set. He's obviously being moved pretty well.
Yeah.
Has that amateur pedigree.
Right. Yeah. I think Buatsi is a good one. Have you seen the kid Joe Cordina?
I have seen Joe Cordina, yeah, the kid from Wales.
Yeah. I like the way he moves. I like that kid, man. I think, you know, I think he's pretty promising. A lot of, like, he's a smaller guy though. And Scott Brown asked this question. Scott Brown, the thing I see with the UK fighters, the ones that I see the most promising are the smaller guys right now. Daniel Dubois, of course, and Joshua Buatsi, like Sean just said. But the rest of them that I see real promising are like the smaller guys. That's why I like Joe Cordina. He's the smaller guy, but if you just watch him in the ring, he moves well. He's sharp. So, but Daniel Dubois, Buatsi, Joe Cordina, I say take your pick with those, Scott.
And people have sort of let down on Josh Kelly because of his performance against what's-his-face, Ray Robertson. But Ray Robertson's a tough opponent, right? He's really tall and super long, and he's a real defensive first type of fighter. So he's hard to look good against. I thought he looked crap and he didn't look good, but for a young kid, it's one of those fights that you could really learn a lot from. And when is the chance you're going to meet somebody like this kick guy, like at 147 pounds, that long again? So, you know, it's kind of like the same way Lopez struggled against the tall Japanese fighter. Haney struggled against the tall Dominican kid.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, you could give him a pass on that.
Yeah.
He has the big fight coming up against Vician for European Championship. And if he wins that, that's a big statement.
Yeah. And I hope that Eddie Hearn I just did a video on this. I hope that Eddie Hearn can make that Campbell Haney fight happen. Forget about Fortuna. I don't care about that deal. Let them work that out. The WBC always screwing people over, so whatever. But
I don't think it's a problem though, because I mean, Fortuna hasn't been mandated, so it's not as if Haney has to give him a fight next. So he's free to pick whoever he wants. And if he chooses to fight Campbell, then how can you complain about it?
But the WBC mandated Campbell and Fortuna to fight for the interim.
Sure, but I mean, Haney has a free shot. So if he wants to pick Campbell, right, then I mean, how's the WBC going to complain about it? He just needs to fight somebody that's like in the top 10 or something, right?
I think that's a great fight, bro. And I put on my video, and a lot of people don't agree with me. I pick Campbell.
At this point,
I pick Campbell.
I think it's fair to pick Campbell because of his last performance against Lomachenko. He showed a lot of tools in his box, And this doesn't diminish Haney. Haney's a kid, right? And at this point, what have we seen him do? I mean, he's got a lot of potential, but we haven't seen him against a top 10 lightweight yet. Obviously, this is his big opportunity. If he goes in there and destroys Campbell like Lomachenko wasn't able to, well, fuck. At that point, we just step back and say, a star is born, right? Wow. But Campbell's not going to be an easy ask. He's a southpaw. He's experienced. He's literally 10 years older than Haney. Physically, he's far stronger than Haney. He's been getting great sparring. The sparring that he had before the Lomachenko fight with Josh Taylor helped both of them. I mean, Josh Taylor came out, beat Prograis, and Campbell fought fantastic against Lomachenko.
And Haney doesn't have that height advantage over.
No, not against him.
He usually enjoys a slight or good height advantage over his opponents, and he doesn't have that over Luke Campbell. So, but I was doing some film on Luke Campbell, and I just think that his stylistically, he's wrong for Haney. Because I see some flaws in Haney that a lot of people are not paying attention to. And I think stylistically, Luke Campbell's wrong for Haney. I don't want to dig into that too much. What's up with you, fam? What's good? Thank you for joining the panel.
It's Johnny Boy, bro.
I know Johnny Boy.
Oh, okay.
I know the logo, dog.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, who else would it be with fucking Sopranos as their What are we talking? Haney Campbell?
No. Actually, this is what I was basically talking about. So,
ESPN,
and I feel both of you guys in to today's topic. The expectations, in my opinion, the expectations of the fans, a lot of channels even, are too high right now, and people are leading themselves into disappointment.
Yeah,
that's what this discussion is about, because. I'm just looking around, I'm listening to videos, and people are getting excited. They're getting excited about the sport coming back, and I am as well. But at the same time, let's be realistic. Right. We ain't getting all of these fights that we've been talking about. We're going to get a bunch of bullshit cards, and they're going to pepper in some good fights here and there, but they got to spread this dough out, and that's just my idea on it.
I've been talking about this with Mark for the past week, bro. Given the circumstances, and I'm not going to get into, with the protests and the virus and all and half the world set ablaze over here. If they get off, let's just say they get off Loma Teofimo, Wilder Fury 3, maybe an Inoue Casimiro and a Chocolatito Estrada 2, 4 or 5 good fights, right? That's fine, given the circumstances. That's not a bad. They get 4 or 5 good fights off, bro. I'll be happy. And plus, they already got, not big fights, but they already got Zepeda versus Baranchik set, which is a great fight, in my opinion. And they got Eliter Alvarez and Joe Smith Jr. set, and that's a good fucking fight, in my opinion. So it's starting to shape up. But like I say, you're not going to get everything, of course. Just be happy if we get 4 or 5 real good fights, man. What more, given the circumstances, you know what I mean?
Well, I agree, but to be honest, Johnny Boy, I think it's potentially we don't get that many fights.
Well, yeah, I mean,
that many good fights. I mean, you understand?
Yeah,
I'm listening to the way Hearn is talking. All of them, and it's 2 things that I keep hearing. Right. Well, we're optimistic, for when the fans return,
Yeah.
If this thing gets extended, see, the reason they're so optimistic for the fans returning, the financial side of it, it covers the costs, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to showcase or put on their marquee fighters without the fans. They really don't. And they're holding back all they can to not do that. Bob Arum, Eddie Hearn, I continuously hear on every interview, they talk about it, every article I'm reading. Well, when the fans return. Well, if this thing continues to get extended, then that's what I'm saying. People are starting to expect this fight and that fight. I don't believe that it's going to go down like that.
Well, Bob's talking about doing Loma and Teofimo in the Raiders' new stadium, and spacing it out like it's got a capacity of like 50 or 60,000 or something like that. And he says maybe we'll just do a limited, like where like 10 or 8,000 can come in or some shit like that. But hopefully that's the case. And let's cut back a little bit. Let's cut back a little bit here. Let's just say they get Lomachenko Teofimo off, Wilder Fury 3, and another good fight. That's not bad given the circumstances, man. Like I say, all the shit that's going on, in my opinion, But that's just me. That's just my 2 cents anyway. So,
Get this smoke. How you doing, fella? All right, but okay. So, Sean, what do you think? What do you think about that, Sean?
I think we're seeing a few different approaches. Eddie Hearn obviously isn't going to come back as quick as Arum is, and he's mostly been talking about putting on bigger fights. But obviously, he probably won't put out as many fights as he was putting out on DAZN. Whereas Bob Arum is starting early, just to sort of break into things. And he's putting on lots of fights. I mean, look at all the cards. Shakur Stevens tomorrow. Jesse Magdalena on Thursday. You have Josh Greer happening like on the 20th. Emmanuel Navarrete is fighting. Andrew Maloney, Miguel Berchelt. So we're getting a lot of good fighters, but obviously they're more showcase fights. So you don't have to pay the opponents very much. You get these guys to get back in the ring, which means you probably can get them in again later on this year in the bigger fights. Like Berchelt, obviously the fight has been talked about, him and Oscar Valdez. So you get him an easy fight now in Mexico. And then obviously by November, December, they have the big fight with him and Valdez come out. And these guys all have money because, they already have their purses set up for the year, right? So they break down their cards. They figure out how much money they're spending each quarter. But because the second quarter was basically a no-show, they didn't spend any of that money. So they still have money to spend, but it's when do you want to spend it? Yeah. Right? Do you want to spend it so you can make a profit, or do you want to spend it where basically you're just like throwing your money away?
And with Arum, Sean, I got a question for you, bro. What would you say, like what I was saying, though, if they get 3 or 4 of them real good fights out by the end of the year, would you be happy with that given what's going on? And
I would.
I'm just curious. Johnny, I'm just asking. Yeah. I'm just asking. Yeah.
Johnny, I'm a boxing fan, and I'm a realist. So, I mean, I'm not going to hate on PBC, DAZN, or ESPN because of a global pandemic and how it affected things. Right. You got to be realistic. If you can't have fans in stadiums, it's going to be hard to financially push the big fights. As a fan, fuck, man, relax, understand fucking the circumstance. I mean, it's not like they're trying to not give you the fights, but
right. Yeah. I got you. I was just curious on your take on that, bro.
Yeah. And the PBC's perspective, they want to put out big fights on pay-per-view. But the question is, when are people going to have money that they want to spend on pay-per-view? Right. Most people figure everything is going to pick up in September, right? September, October, November, and December. In the next few months, it's mostly, small case fights, showcase fights, seeing how things are, seeing if Corona is an issue or if you can still put on events. And obviously, if it all goes smooth, then we're going to start getting bigger and bigger fights as the year progresses.
Yeah, that's my pretty much sums it up there, doesn't it? I was just curious for your take on that, Sean. I haven't spoken to you in a while, so thanks, buddy.
Get this smoke. Your mic fixed yet? Yeah, guess not. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I tell you this. I do agree with what you were saying, Sean. And Johnny Boy, like, to answer your question, and I know you was asking Sean, but bro, I'm just not as, I'll just say it this way. I'm not as optimistic as I was a month ago. Because after the things that I've been hearing and reading, and then just Like I just look at the context that they put in these things in, and it appears to me that they're relying on the fans too much. Let me give some shout outs real quick, guys. Timmy Nealon in the building. What's up with you, fam? Andre, I think that this Clarissa Shields is the face of boxing. Hey, who y'all guys think is the face of boxing on the women's side? I said Clarissa Shields. She's the most vocal and she's beating the hell out of everyone. So
Katie Taylor.
Katie Taylor, that's a good one too. Could be Toby Bartlett in the building. What good with you? Shiz Biz, Boxing Virus, Charles D, Black and Brown. What's up, Black and Brown? Yeah, man. Katie Taylor, but like, yeah, I don't know.
She's got a Serrano fight, and she also has what's her face?
Well, I ain't saying who got a better resume. I'm saying like who's the face, like who's more known, like because Katie Taylor, like yeah, overall better resume, better. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'll give her that. But like, who's the face of boxing? Because like John Jones is the best in the UFC, but he ain't the damn face of the UFC. You know what I mean? So I ain't saying who's the best, but who would you say is the face of female boxing? The only reason I say Clarissa Shields is because she's been the most vocal. She's winning, and now she's in this back and forth with Layla Ali. So, like, even people that don't know female boxing, they know her name, Clarissa Shields. She's an Olympian. She's winning titles. You know what I mean? That's why
she's getting a lot of negative criticism thrown at her. So yeah, her name is out there a lot more with her brother attacking the trainer and punching him from behind, you know, with her like basically shitting on amateur boxers and the things she's done. So yeah, she's out there, but not really for the reasons you want. I mean, you know, Katie Taylor's got a fight with Amanda Serrano set up, and then she's got the fight with, you know, pound for pound #1 woman at welterweight. So she has some super mega fights right in front of her, right? Whereas, what's Clarissa Shields doing next? Like, who is her next big opponent? You're only as good as the opponents you have in front of you, right?
Right. She can't really find anyone to challenge her. All of the girls that can really challenge her, in my opinion, are too small for her. Like this, it's at her skill level. Like they're too small for her.
That's the problem, right? Women boxing, she's too big. There's not a lot of fighters at her weight, so it limits her potential opponents. Whereas you get down to like 130, 135, 140, and you get a lot more potential people to fight.
Right. The women at her size, they're just sloppy. They're not good boxers. And she's dominant at that size because she's so far ahead of them when it comes to the science, right? And then with the smaller girls, some of them may be, well, I'm not saying maybe, some of them are more efficient, you know, better boxers than she is, but she's good enough that her size, it's not going to allow them to beat her. She's too big.
Yeah. I mean, you know, she was trying to call out the welterweight, like what's her face? It's escaping me right now. But like, you know, for her to go up, she has to go up in weight.
You're talking about Cecilia?
Yeah. She has to go up in weight to challenge, you know, her. So, you know, now you're fighting out of your comfort zone. She's already like over 36 years of age, you know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and so that's just the thing. So, good question, Andre. My man, France in the building. What's good with you, France? Cat, what's up, Cat? I see y'all this is. So, here's something I want to ask you guys. What is the first big fight you guys are thinking we're going to have? 2020, the first one. Who's going to get in the gate first? And you know what I mean, big fight, big enough where we all going to be making goddamn videos about it. What's going to be the first big fight that happens in 2020?
Lomachenko Lopez in September.
You think that's going to happen?
It's going to happen for sure.
Yeah.
Lomachenko's coming over like in the next week or two.
You know, I want that fight.
It's happening.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen. That's my boy, Sean. We got to stay positive, bro. That's my
you know it's gonna happen. I mean, it's not the kind of money that is earth-shattering, right? Like obviously they're both going to get paid career highs, but we're not talking like bigger weight class type of fucking huge money. Like Mikey Garcia making $7 million to fight fucking, nobody even cares about. It's not going to be that kind of money. So, it's more affordable.
Yeah. Well,
can I add something?
Go ahead, Johnny boy. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Fuck. I lost my train of thought. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Hang on. I'm searching.
Well, while you thinking about it, I'll tell Smoke, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me now? How's this?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Loud and clear. What's up?
Cool. Yeah, what's up, everybody? Good morning. I think probably the biggest one that gets the most, I think the pay-per-view will be Spence Garcia. And then the biggest fighter, it will be Canelo, but I don't know. It'll be Canelo versus TBD.
All right. Hold on right quick. You get ready to take off, Sean?
I was going to say those fights will probably not happen until November or though. So, I mean, they won't be the first fights. But, yeah, I expect both of those to happen. Canelo against somebody decent and Spence against Garcia on pay-per-view. Probably we're going to get Fury and Wilder, but who knows where it's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to add to that. It's, I think them are the three I think we're going to end up getting right there for sure, probably by the end of the year. Fury, Wilder 3, Spence, Danny, Loma, Teofimo. Because what I was going to say before I lost my train of thought was because Bob realizes that he has to get that Lomachenko Teofimo fight off as possible, otherwise as soon as possible, because Teofimo ain't going to be able to make the weight. So they have to. It's going to be one of them cases where it either happens now or it doesn't happen at all, bro. You know what I mean?
Shit or get off the pot.
Yeah.
Lawrence Williams.
The only thing is I think they will probably push Wilder Fury back because all of sports is going to be coming back, and they want to maximize their return on that particular fight because that's like the either biggest or second biggest fight that you can make in boxing, right? So I think that they're going to make sure that they don't shoot themselves in the foot with that one by rushing it back. So that could be 2021.
Well, I think that football season will probably start on schedule. They didn't get hit like the rest of the sports because they were off season already when the shit, you know what I'm saying? So if it's regular season football and not playoff time and basketball playoff time and shit, they'll pop it off on us because then you can watch the fight Saturday and go watch your football Sunday. You know what I mean? So yeah. If it's regular,
well, they're saying Christmas. They're saying Christmas now. So Christmas is when all the families are moving around, and you got the football on Christmas. And I don't know. I just don't. They did the first one around the same time, but that was also kind of a rush situation. But this one isn't that. This is now they've already done a great piece of business, and I think they're going to move this one a little bit differently, especially since ESPN has the belts. ESPN, I feel like they're going to be doing a lot of promotion of sport. And they're going to want to really focus on this one so they can cash in.
Johnny boy.
They also have problems with Dillian White, though.
Real quick, guys. France, appreciate you for the super chat. France, my man. France says, Johnny Boy Boxing, you have my email. Pass it on to DJ. Johnny Boy and DJ, leave me an email. What size shoes you wear? I could send you some shoes. France on 2 is the man. Appreciate you, France.
Yeah. Well, first I got to get D's email. Then once I get D's email, I'll here. Let me just write this.
Everybody, listen. Everybody listening. Sean, get this smoke. Everybody listening. Y'all already got my email. Just put @Gmail at the end of it. Speak Your Mind Sports Talk @Gmail. That's it. Everybody got it. Y'all got it.
Is it any capitals in there?
Nah.
No capital letters.
Speak Your Mind Sports Talk @gmail.com. You want to get a hold of me? All right. All
right. I got you. Hang on. I'll be right back.
The fight that I hope happens, and I think it should happen pretty early from DAZN, Pro Grace Hooker.
Yes. Hey, let me ask y'all something. I was just talking about this when I was talking about Joe Cordina over in Britain, right? Why do we sleep on these smaller guys? I guess that's just the history of boxing. But what about Monster and Casemiro, bro? That's a big fight.
Yeah. But that's going to happen as well. But that's also another ESPN fight, right? So it's when Bob figures he can put it on, and when Inouye can get over.
Right. Now I heard they starting to lift travel ban. Boxing Monster, you close. You close. One size off is 8.5.
You know, like Lomachenko's got a green card, so for him to come over to the States is easy. But with Inouye, who knows what the situation is?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. The Zone of Top. Well, he's with Top Rank, right?
Yeah. Inouye's with Top Rank.
Casamaro with
Casamayor, I think, is just sort of. I think he's with Pacquiao as a promoter.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I don't know, man. See, I don't. That's the thing, bro. I'm telling you guys now. Top Rank. Like I don't trust Bob or Eddie right now because Eddie Hearn is doing the most for boxing, but it's still like I used to get on Eddie Hearn for the greed factor, the haggling for the money factor, right? And of course, everybody they got to make the money, right? I don't really have faith in Hearn and Bob Arum in this situation. I think they're going to be, scraping for that dollar, man. And a lot of these fights that we really want to see are going to be delayed until we can get fans back. And God knows if they delay the fans coming back in the stadiums because there's going to be a lot of people upset, man. Those fights are not going to happen. Or they'll spread them out so far apart. That's what I'm afraid of.
But the reality is, some fans are never fucking happy with anything.
Oh well, that's.
I mean, you hear people moaning and groaning so much already, even though there's a fucking pandemic going on. And for them, they think it shouldn't mean anything. They should get all the fights they want whenever they want. They're fucking delusional. You got to be realistic. Like the whole fucking world economy shut down. So calm the fuck down, take a step back, and chill. I mean, you're getting boxing. If you're a fan, fucking sit back and enjoy it and shut the fuck up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. These dudes are expecting to get AJ Fury, Pacquiao Crawford, fucking Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez, Ioka Tanaka, fucking Chocolatito Estrada, all this shit by the end of the Inoue Casamaro, all this shit by the end of the year. Like, come on, man. That's
no,
not
Johnny. All on one fucking pay-per-view card.
Yeah. Come on.
Right. And there's no way that they're going to spend that type of money to put that card together because, guys, not you guys, but people out here listening to this, it's not feasible.
Yeah.
You have all of these fighters, these good fighters that we all want to see on one card, then it has to be a card that's going to produce a lot of income. There's so many things that they have to cut out. Concessions, guys, that makes a lot of money, whether you guys realize that or not. The concessions from those events makes a ton of money. Well, not only are they not getting the ticket sales, now they're not getting the concession revenue.
Yeah, fucking
all that stuff is lost, bro.
Yeah, fucking Sean just said it. Drinks, bro. Drinks.
Oh, man, they kill it on the alcohol. They kill it. You can buy a damn 12-pack of alcohol for one beer. What it costs me for one beer in there?
When I used to go to the White Sox games all the time when I was a kid, bro, I used to sneak in fucking, those little airplane bottles at the liquor store. Bro, I would literally load my pockets with them joints. I put like 8 of them in there because you know how they waxed you $12 for a beer at the fucking ball game.
Right.
So I would just take like 6 or 8 of them little airplane bottles and buy a Coke for $3 and just dump a little out and mix it up, bro. Save you some money.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, and that's what you got to do. But with that revenue being gone, I just, that's what makes me think that things are a little shaky. But look, get this smoke. What?
Yes, sir, man.
I want to ask you guys, go around the panel, because I guess we've done enough talking about Wilder's statements. What do you think about Joshua's statements? Get this smoke. And I'm gonna bring it back around. I'm gonna tell you before you go get this book. This actually still has to do with the topic, and I'm gonna bring it back around. I just want to get you guys' ideas on it first. But go ahead, Smoke.
It's real small nitpicky stuff. Like I wish he would have clarified why he read the speech versus just the other guy wasn't there. Like, does he actually feel what the guy was saying? But mostly, I think he was talking to a UK and an audience in the UK and what they should do there, because it doesn't really make a lot of sense, translated in his words to here. So I don't, as long as he's out there getting involved in his own way, thinking globally, acting locally, I don't have a problem.
Cool. What do you think about it, Johnny boy? You there? Johnny probably went to get a say. What you think about his comments, Sean? Or his not really his comments because it was some, but what do you think about his presentation? Let's say that.
I think he's a role model for his community and him. I don't know why people worry about whose speech it was. The point was the things he said. Role models and leaders in America have said the same thing for like the last 50 fucking years. The things he said are actually ways you push change. You think about your community, you support the people in your community. People want to twist that into a racist thing, but that's just because they fucking are pushing their own agenda. They're not listening to the message he's pushing. There was hope and positivity and a direction for people to aim for. And he also was trying to keep all the young guys from getting out of control and following the U.S. sort of looting and polluting type of mentality and understanding that's not really going to help anything, So, I thought he did exactly what he needed to do. He didn't even need to do that. So I thought what he did was poignant, perfect, exactly what he needed to do. And then the one topic he wasn't too sure about, he sort of went into his own and explained a little more, right? Just giving some personal support behind it, the whole like gang sort of youth type of issue.
Right. Johnny boy, you back yet?
Yeah, I'm here.
What did you think about AJ's presentation?
I don't know. I think listen, bro. I'm just talking about AJ in specific. Bro, just go lay on your yacht and shut the fuck up, would you please? Jesus Christ. I'm not talking about anybody else but AJ. Okay, let me make that clear. Yo, you heard me yesterday, D. I was motherfucker. Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. Just go. Listen, bro. Just go run around your yacht with Eddie Hearn and the 40 models you got running around that bitch, feeding you grapes over here, man. I ain't got no man. Go ahead. No, he had a nice little message in there. Let's everybody fucking come together and feel all right or whatever they yeah, whatever. I don't know. Fuck AJ.
But you compare AJ's message to Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder did what he did. It's me. I'm using this cause to promote me. And it's more about his image, his promotion, him doing it in a way that reflects on him. Being in the middle of nowhere, not near any of the cause, not near any of the protests, not supporting his people, not being in the community, but being like away from everyone, putting on a show. Whereas AJ is there, his hometown, with the people he grew up in, putting a message out to like the people in the community where actually, it will reverberate and have an effect on people.
I got real quick, Johnny boy. Here's something about that, Sean. And we were actually talking about this on Julius's channel yesterday. And I don't want to go too deep into this, guys, because I want to bring it back to the topic. But with the Wilder situation, I think that a lot of fans on both sides of this need to have more of an open perspective of it. Because me personally, like I'm in my 40s, have I stood out there with my people? Have I protested? And yeah, I've joined protests. I've been involved in protests. Some of them got violent. You understand what I'm saying? So I've done my part. But there's a certain time that, at like my time of life now, I wouldn't go to a protest. My daughter just went to one. I aired it on my channel. She had footage while she was down there. and they got sprayed and gassed by the damn police. So at this point in my life, I wouldn't go to a protest. It's not that I don't believe in what they're standing for or anything like that, but just physically being there, I wouldn't. But would I speak on, you know, what's going on? Of course I would. I'm putting videos up about it. So I think that what Wilder did, no matter where he did it, no matter where he filmed it, the message was important. And I think a lot of people are losing sight of the message. They don't like Wilder for the foolery he does in boxing. Guess what? I don't either. They don't like Wilder for some of the shit that he said out of his mouth. I don't like that either. But at the end of the day, I love the message. And I like the presentation because it was powerful. And I've actually heard people from other countries, Mark Unrivaled is one of them. He said that he took things from that and he heard from Wilder that he'd never heard from anyone else. And my thing is, the message is what's important. And people are kind of getting lost for the disdain for Wilder. And I can understand that. They don't see it as being genuine. They see it as being opportunistic. But that message that he got out was very powerful, and it touched a lot of people worldwide. People that wouldn't.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, Deep. But you know, obviously part of it is the history, the fan base, and the way they try to make him out to be the modern day Martin Luther King.
Right.
Yet he's never actually said anything poignant or anything. He's never actually put himself out there to the community and never done anything. I mean, he's got 2 sound bites, right? One.
But that's not true. That's not true, John. That's actually not true. I didn't mean to cut you off. That's not true. He's done a lot in his community. He's done a lot. The thing is this: it ain't televised, bro. It's just like LeBron James. I just got in somebody's shit about LeBron James the other day because you know I do basketball too, right? So it's just like LeBron James. I don't like the foolishness LeBron James does in the NBA at all. Like, I'm against all of that. But outside of the NBA, he does a hell of a lot for the community. And because these things aren't televised, people actually don't know. Deontay Wilder is a very giving person, more than people know. But because he don't televise it, then it's just not known. And that's fine, because I don't think that everything that you do to give to people, you should have to televise it for accolades and recognition anyway. If you're giving, you should give from the heart anyway. I give every day as much as I can. I just gave to some people earlier. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that that's necessary. You don't have to have the public view, because some people do that and they give and get it in public view for the recognition, right?
I understand what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like as a person, I like Wilder. It just, a lot of this comes off as performance to build his image boxing-wise and to fill his pockets financially. A lot of it, I'm not saying like that's totally who he is. When you see him with his family, his kids, he's a down-to-earth, really nice guy. But the rest of this, it seems like so much of a show. So then it sort of makes me feel a lot of it is just exploitating a particular cause to benefit himself. And maybe that's just because of the people who support him. And I know that's what they do.
It could just be that you haven't done your research on Wilder, because he's been outspoken on these issues for years.
Hold on. Before we even go there, we're not going to go there. So I'm going to say this. I'll say this, and then I'm going to bring it back to the topic, because I don't want to go into this. Sean, the way you feel, a ton of people feel that way. There is a split perspective on this. So what we're not even going to do is get into the opposite perspectives. We did that smoke on Julius's channel for hours. So we ain't going to do that. I think both sides have very valid perspectives. But let me just bring this back around to why I asked you guys the question about AJ, is why I got him up here in the first place. Okay, AJ is getting a lot of backlash from his own community over there, his own fan base. He's catching a hell of a lot of backlash. Of course, he's catching a lot of backlash here in America from, number one, the Wilder fans, number two, the AJ haters, and number three, you idiots, all of you. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Johnny. What's up?
No, I was just gonna say that dude. The kid I just blocked in your chat was one of them little boys insulting my dad with the cancer and all.
All
that
right.
No, just so you know, I didn't do it for no reason. Yeah.
I got you, Johnny.
Oh, okay. All right.
So AJ, by him coming out, just receiving backlash. Listen, guys, the heavyweight division, like we know it determines boxing, right? If the heavyweight division is thriving, people start watching boxing. Boxing's thriving. If the heavyweight division is in turmoil, then we have the Klitschko days, and boxing goes in the toilet, right? Okay, so check it out. What if, do you guys think that this will cause any heat for boxing? Because boxing, like, we just getting back. Now people are hating this freaking, AJ. They're hating on him. Like, bro, I don't know if you guys have seen some of the comments, some of the posts that's been putting up, but they hating on him. For as many people that's hating on Wilder for his message, you have equally the same amount. But what was interesting to me is that it's over in the UK.
The old expression.
Go ahead.
The culture in the UK is just different, right? They the way that they interact with their immigrant communities, with their minority communities, like some places are really diverse, some places are really homogenous. And I think that, for talking to some people from the UK, it seems like the message is just a little bit muddled about just buy locally. It seems like, how do you become unified if all you do is support your own ethnicity shops? And also, just like the idea about like what racism is a little bit different. Like, just looking at things along racial terms can be seen as racist. So he's getting it's just a cultural backlash, right? And I don't think I'm that qualified to speak on it, because I'm just listening to what other people are saying about it. But that seems to be the gist.
Contrary to popular belief, I don't hate Wilder. I just clown him to piss people off because people are so fucking sensitive. Same thing with Spence.
Yeah.
AJ's up for debate. The only dudes I legitimately hate are Floyd Broner, Chavez Jr., and Amir Khan, and maybe one or two other people that I forgot. And that's it. The rest of these dudes I just talk shit about because you dudes get so offended, and I see that you got some sensitive female feelings. You understand? Yeah.
So Johnny, and you know what? I'm going to Sean, Johnny, because I already know what Johnny's answer is.
Well, go ahead, D. As long as I'm talking.
I wanted to know, do you think that AJ coming out and this negative effect that he's had on the fan base, do you think that this somehow will affect boxing returning? Because like boxing thrives off the heavyweight division, bro. We can't come back with people talking shit about one of our most popular boxers. Like, you got Canelo, then you got AJ, then you got Wilder and Fury. Like, those are the popular guys. Like, the people that don't even watch boxing, they know these guys. Now this guy's getting trashed. Do you think this will affect our return on boxing return?
If anything, it's a good thing, because publicity is positive. We've been away from the sport for a couple months. Now we're talking about Wilder doing his little rap, and then AJ coming out in the public, and a few people doing this, a few people doing that. So it's getting their faces out there, getting people thinking about boxing. In the UK, it's been cut down the middle always. AJ's never been everybody's cup of tea there as well. It's split between sort of Fury and him anyways. So you kind of have a bit of a racial division in the UK already. So of course you're going to have a certain amount of that kickback at him based on his comments and supporting Black Lives Matter. It's not a surprise, right?
Right. Yeah. I Johnny Boy Hustle taking a stab at you. He said, Manny trash, Johnny. What's up, Hustle? What's up, B-Space? Samuel Shaw, what's up, fam? Yeah.
Just to answer your question though, D. Do I think it'll affect the popularity of the heavyweight division and boxing as a whole? No. I don't. These guys are just too exciting, and they're too big, and the fights themselves are too intriguing. The heavyweight division's back.
All right. I was kind of thinking that too, Smoke, because there's been so much fuss, and Fury is phenomenal. And I'm not just saying this because that's my dude, and everybody know that's my dude. But Tyson Fury is phenomenal. The mouthpiece, the excitement, the WWE, bro. That shit. Listen, that shit brings casual fans in. You know, the Dosa, box his head off, and all of that. People love that kind of stuff, bro. They love it.
Yeah, hustle. I love you too much to insult your back, dog. I can't even say nothing to that. You my boy, bro. I can't even say. I ain't even gonna respond to that. But you my boy. Shout out to Hustle.
All right. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I think I kind of agree with Smoke. And Sean, you know, look, man, people are so excited. I'm one of these people. I'll say we're so excited, bro. Like, we get in sports back in general. Like, people, look, darts was the only freaking option, guys. And I wasn't watching darts. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And that was it. That was the only option. So now we got boxing back. So, and I think I'm happy, actually, as a hardcore boxing fan. I have to say this. I'm actually happy that these younger guys, these guys that haven't been getting any television time, I'm actually happy for them. Because now we get to get eyes on some of these guys who we need to start picking some new fighters, guys. Think about it. Everybody that we rooting for now are in their freaking 30s or older, I mean. So it ain't but so much time before they out the door. So we need to start looking at some new guys. We can't root for Canelo and Joshua and Fury forever, bro. We can't do it. Like, these young guys are gonna come up. So with this pandemic and the layoff and everything, and now they're coming back under the circumstances that they have to come back under, they have to throw in cheaper fights. But just because it's a cheaper fight, don't mean it's a bad fight. Go look at, I always say this, me and Mark always tell people this. Go look at that Davies Jr. card where they had Fitzgerald and Cheeseman. That fight was massive, and nobody even paid attention to that card. And then Davies Jr. fought the damn it, who did he fight? I can't even remember. But bro, it was amazing. And I think we're going to get a lot of cards like that. We're going to get some interesting fights. Eyes are going to be put on some fighters that people don't generally pay attention to. What you guys think about that?
Well, that's like the Branchik Zepeda fight. It's not a fight anybody would talk about, but I mean, that's potentially a fight of the year. I mean, that's just a great matchup. Two top 10 guys, both like this close to being like world champions. I mean, obviously Branchik was a world champion, and Zepeda, many people feel he beat Ramirez. So, I mean, that shows you the quality they have. And now you put them in there, a lot on the line, obviously. That's going to be a great fight. We're still going to get fights like Ioka against Tanaka. Obviously, that's a Japanese promoter. Japan's probably going to open up earlier than the States, so they'll probably be able to have fans there, like in the venues, so they'll probably be able to afford to push that kind of huge fight.
Yeah. And you know, these smaller guys don't make a lot of money, not massive money anyway. So if you want to put on some fights, championship fights, man, throw these smaller guys in the ring. You know, you save money, you get those guys exposed, and a lot of those fights are so great, bro. I think if they could broadcast these fights more, I think that people would be interested in them, because a lot of those fights are action-packed. These little guys throw their hands, bro. It's not like, you know, with the bigger guys, they're measuring each other, they're, you know, fainting. And no, these little guys get in there and they bang it up. They're almost like women fighters. Women fighters just go in there and let their freaking hands go.
And I'm not and I'm not trying to be a fanboy, but I got to give a little bit of props to the four kings of the 2000s, Pacquiao, Marquez, Barrera, and Morales, because they put a lot of great shine on them little guys back in the day, bro. They did.
They did, bro. They did. I mean,
between the four of them, they fought like 12 or 13 times. And it was all big fights, you know what I mean? So,
yeah. And there's still fights like that now. It's just people are not paying attention to them. Like, let's be honest. The fight Naoya Inoue and Donaire. The fight before they fought, Obali and Takuma Inoue, that was a pretty decent fight. And if you look at a lot of these fights that we did that are so-called high caliber fights, they're nowhere near as good fights as that.
Well, I have
a better fight. Like what they were doing, it's a better fight. And some of these fights, like who the hell that Deontay Wilder and Ortiz fight was trash, bro.
Yeah.
It was ass whoop, one punch, he gone.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a trash fight, bro.
Well, my fight,
you can't tell me that fight was better than Takuma, Inoue, and Obali.
Yeah. Well,
I can say Spence Porter was though.
Yeah, but that was a good fight. That was a good fight.
My fight of the year up to this point is Danny Roman and what the hell's the kid's name? I can never remember it. I thought that was a hell of a fight, and I thought Martinez and Jay Harris was a great fight.
Oh
too.
Yeah, that was a banger.
Yeah, I thought those were the two best. Those are the two best fights I've seen this year. I know we've been hitting on a dry spot the last 3 months, but
Well, I think mine is, and it's not because it's popular, but just Inoue and Donaire was amazing. Like, because I was so excited to see that fight. Like, that's my fight. That's my fight of the year.
But that was last year, though.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was November.
We've been
2019.
My damn body. I need boxing back. Well, that was my fight in 2019. Then, man, that fight was fucking amazing, bro.
I was on the fence of that one and Taylor Prograis, bro. Those were the two.
That was a good one too.
Yeah,
that was a good one too. Taylor,
maybe
that was a good one, but the one I mentioned is Spence Porter. Just because they were banging it out the entire time. Round 12, and it was competitive and contested. Like Monster Donaire was a good fight, but really it was just watching one of my old guys, get his ass whooped for a lot of the fight.
No, he was giving it to listen, he was giving it to Monster Inoue. You don't just get a fractured orbital socket by not getting it handed to you.
He popped him a few good ones, and he even made it competitive in a few rounds. But the first 4 were kind of a wash. Really, even the competitive rounds, you're still losing. But yeah, he definitely put some nice veteran hands. Let the monster know he was in a fight, but it wasn't really that close a fight.
Yeah, that was all in the discussion between Porter and Spence and Taylor Pro. Those were all good fights, man.
Official boxing science in the building. Y'all go check out Official. Official got this cool thing he do where he puts the face of the boxer over his face, and he actually shows you the moves while he's breaking down their moves. It's cool as hell, bro. Y'all gotta go check it out.
Officials are going, dog.
Yeah, it's cool as hell. A-Ob's in the building. What's up? All right, guys. So look, let me ask y'all this thing. So we already know that they're like in the trial phase and seeing how things are going to work. Let's say the fans do come back and they allow the space in or whatever, and we start to get these fights, right?
Mm-hmm.
4-belt unification. What's the first 2 that we'll get? Because let me put it on the table now. Let me put it on the table. All the possibilities. Inoue, Josh Taylor, God knows Spencer Crawford, because I'm talking about going into 2021 and all of that. And then, of course, AJ and Fury and all of them. The first 2, what y'all think?
Go ahead, bro. I'll go last.
Go ahead, Sean. Crank it up.
Well, obviously, the first one is Lomachenko and Lopez.
Oh, right. That one, too. Right.
That's gonna happen in September. And then I think the most likely one to happen as quick as possible will be Ramirez against Taylor.
I'm in total agreement. I was just going to say that I think the first, aside of that Loma Teofimo, I think the first one that you're going to get is Taylor Ramirez.
Ramirez.
Yeah.
Smokey there.
Unanimous.
Yeah. Listen,
You
all
did.
right, I'm gonna go a little sideways, dog. I'm gonna go a little sideways with this one. I think Ramirez and Taylor, yes. I don't know about Bob Arum, so I'm not comfortable with Teofimo. That's right, Sean. I'm not comfortable.
But Bob Arum's putting on the Taylor Ramirez one too.
I know, but that's cheaper.
Is it?
Is it? It
It's
might
in the
not be.
same ballpark.
It might be. Oh no. I don't know. I don't trust Bob, bro. You're right about that. So Bob, that kind of throw a monkey wrench in that one, cuz.
Well, and can I before you go ahead, let me just say this. I think ultimately the plan down the line is to have Crawford fight the winner for the, so he can try and get 2-time undisputed 140 pounds.
Yeah.
I think that's the ultimate goal.
You know what I just thought about, Sean, when you said that? I'm just going to agree with you now that I was getting ready to go a different direction, but as soon as you just said that, it just made me think about something. That motherfucker hand is on damn near every fight we're talking about here. He got it in on Fury AJ. His hand is in on Inouye, getting 4 belt. Teofimo Loma, Crawford Spence, this bastard. So I just might as well agree with what you said, because I stopped to think. I was like, I don't trust Bob, but wait a minute. Bob handing on every 4 belt undisputed right now, guys. Every single one of them. This guy has his hand in on it. I just thought about that. Absolutely amazing. So,
but Bob is bad for the sport.
Well, bittersweet. You know how that goes, right? Bittersweet. Because I'll tell you right now, I'd rather have Bob running more of the show than fucking Floyd Mayweather. Now, what if we had Floyd Mayweather sitting in Bob's situation? Come on. What if we had Lou DiBella sitting in Bob's situation? Oh my.
Bro, if you had Floyd sitting in Bob's seat, you'd never get any unification fight ever at any point in time, not at all whatsoever.
What if Oscar De La Hoya had the power that Bob Arum has? We'd be screwed, bro. We'd be screwed. So it's a bittersweet thing with Bob Arum, but I'm going to give him his heat. But hell, man, like again, it's a necessary evil, is what he is to this sport. He's a necessary evil.
Obviously, I mean, Top Rank is not just Bob Arum. He's just the figurehead, right, that does most of the talking. Right. But they have some other guys that are behind it. Obviously, the backbone that does a lot of the legwork, right? So, but people love to hate people, and Bob is perfect for that.
And he doesn't care. And that's the thing.
As he said, Johnny, you should love him because he smokes as much weed as you.
You know what? I think I might have misheard your question. Like, what? Could you repeat the question one more time, D?
What question? Which one?
The one that we're talking about now, about Bob Arum, about the fights. Ramirez and Ramirez Hooker and Tio.
All of the potential 4-belt undisputeds that we have on the line. Inouye could get it, Joshua Fury or Wilder Fury, whoever, after the trilogy's done, or out of all the potential 4-belt undisputeds, which 2 do you think has the potential of happening first?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna change my pick to I need to change my pick to Monster and Ramirez Hooker. Just not Loma or Tio. I'd put Monster there first.
Well, Monster has to go through 2 fights.
Casamayor and O'Bali.
Or Donaire. You think O'Bali's going to win? Let's talk about that, guys.
I think Donaire could beat him, but I think O'Bali will probably outwork him.
Okay. What do you think, Smoke? O'Bali, Donaire?
I think O'Bali outworks him also, but I hope not. I hope we get to see. I got O'Bali. I got O'Bali's youth. I don't think Donaire would have got through Tete if that's who he would have fought. I don't think he ever would have faced Monster in the first place. But yeah, I don't think that Tio. I mean, now that I understand your question, I don't have a lot of faith in the Tio Loma fight.
Neither. I don't know. I'm with you there.
But everyone else has. But pretty much everyone has to go through two guys. It may be Bivol Better Beef.
Two guys. And there's a small tournament in the WBO. So, I mean, you even have to wait on that. If Ramirez would have jumped right in, if Ramirez would have got what he wanted, which was like a straight up fucking fight for the title, then we could have easily had that quicker. But because Ramirez had to go through a tournament, he just said, fuck you. So,
that vacant WBO, right? I just don't have a lot of faith. Yeah, man, Pacquiao Crawford, Crawford. That's two fights. That's at least two fights and a whole bunch of bullshit.
And also,
so I'm gonna go right back to Monster because everything else is two fights and a bunch of bullshit anyway. So I'm gonna go right back to Monster. I'm gonna go right back to Monsters.
Right. Yeah. And I was kind of leaning that way too, Smoke. But then I backtracked. Well, you know, when Sean said what he said, that's when I backtracked. I was like, you know what? The fact that Bob Hand isn't on everything, then I backtrack too. You might as well pick Loma. I'm like you, Smoke. I think there's a slim chance. I just feel something in my gut tell me Bob's going to screw that fight. But you might as well go Lomachenko Teofimo, because if Bob doesn't screw that fight, okay, it's really like Smoke. To be honest, bro, we're the oddballs in this. Most people are pretty comfortable that the fight's gonna happen. So we're the oddballs. So let's say it's like a 70-30 chance the fight does happen. Then that's the first 4-bell undisputed, right? If people considers it that. Now, why I want to, if people considers it, yeah, Sean, if they consider it that, because Lomachenko has the franchise title.
You just need to go look at the listings, and the name that's first is Lomachenko, and Devin Haney is under him, the same as the WBA super champion. Lomachenko is first, and Tank Davis is under him.
I just got a question. Who did Devin Haney fight to get that title? Oh, yeah.
Santiago.
Nobody.
He got it against nobody, and then he defended it against Santiago.
That's right.
Tell him to grow a dick and balls and get in there with Luke Campbell. Let's see what happens.
Yes, Luke Campbell. That's another big fight for 2020.
Hearn is trying really hard to make that happen. Luke Campbell.
The issue with the feeling the problem with it is not just Bob, it's also the COVID circumstance, and Teofimo seems to be have outgrown the weight already during this whole thing, right? Like Shakur, who was already went through a camp and was about to fight, and his fight got canceled, and that dude had to move up. You know, there was reports of Teo being 160 pounds. Like, I don't know. It seems unlikely. No. It seems like there's some huge hurdle for this fight.
Teo said he was 160, and just recently he said he's 155 and in shape, training. So what you say is not off. I think he's probably going to miss weight on the fight. The fight's still going to happen, though, but he just won't be able to potentially win the title. But I still think the fight will happen, kind of like Lomachenko-Salido.
He'll miss weight a little bit, yeah. I was thinking the same. I've been saying the same thing for the past couple of weeks. I think
unfortunate though. I don't even want the fight if he's gonna miss weight and not win.
I think he'll weigh in at like 138 or something and just be like, "Fuck it, let's just run it anyways." Yeah. I'm with you, Sean. Yeah.
You got to do it though, because if it doesn't happen, then all the blame is gonna fucking fall on Lomachenko. People are all gonna point fingers. People love to hate him. It's gonna be all his fault. He fucking set up the pandemic just to delay the fight, you know.
All he's got to do is fight. But he can fight Devin Haney after that. He can fight guys. He's got guys to fight. And he can throw. And Bob is an expert at knowing how to scapegoat guys. All he have to do is call out Tank and watch Tank mumble and do whatever the hell he does and not make the fight. Like, there's any ways that you can spin the Teo Loma fight not happening from Loma's perspective. Like, Teo's a little kid, really. Like, just because Teo vacates doesn't mean Loma can't become undisputed.
What's
yeah,
it-
Abdullah. That's what it was.
yeah, some fucking no name. But anyway, he what's it called? Fucking what's it called? Yeah, man, them two little boys just need to shut their mouth and go fight somebody. See, Ryan Garcia was talking all that good shit for a long time, and then Linares finally got pissed off and started clapping back at him. And now no, we're not looking at that fight. We're not looking at that fight. No.
Yeah, and Lawrence Williams said that he should go to the WBC, not Haney, for him being champ. They made Loma franchise champ, but if Loma beats Teofimo, then fight Haney, then it's all forgiven. Yeah, that would be perfect. But I think if Loma beats Teofimo and wins the fight, I don't think he fights Haney. I think Loma probably slide back down to 130. Because Bob was talking about that anyway.
He's not sliding down to 130 because he wants the Tank Davis fight, and Burchelt is moving up as well. So all the guys are moving to 130. Yeah, he will. For sure he is. It's an ESPN opponent. It's an in-house fight.
No. I'm talking about Sugar Tank Davis.
Well, Tank can't avoid Lomachenko forever because if Lomachenko's undisputed, who is he going to fight?
Yeah.
Right? Like eventually you need to try to fight for a legitimate title.
It'll go Teofimo, and if he beats him, he'll fight Burchelt next. That's like Sean just said. That's easy to make. They're both with Bob. That'll be the next fight,
bro. I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna find that link to that article. I mean, no, that interview. Bob talking about moving this man down after the.
Yeah, but that was a while ago to chase after Tank Davis, but Tank Davis moved up, right? I mean, if Tank Davis goes back down and fights Leo Santa Cruz at 130 and stays at the weight, maybe then you have a point.
Yeah.
But I still don't see it happening.
Tank little fat ass. But speaking of Tank Davis, have you seen it? Have you guys seen him lately?
He's a big old butterball, man.
Nah, bro, he's trimmed down like a motherfucker.
Oh, he trimmed down? Well, good for him.
He's been in the gym and all of that. I guess supposedly either that or smoking crack one, but he's trimmed down.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, and I can tell you this from firsthand, bro. If you pull the Jake LaMotta, you pull the De Niro on Raging Bull, and you got to lose 40 fucking pounds every time. That takes a toll on your body, bro. It breaks you down, dog. You can only do that shit so many times before it catches up with you. Trust me. I just
came out and said that. I got an interview about it. He was talking about how he did an interview with Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes, and he was talking about how he made the Porter fight and the Mikey Garcia fight much harder for himself because of ballooning up in weight in between fights. He said he goes to the fight and he was absolutely punishing himself to get down to the weight. And so, this is a fact, bro. You can't be bouncing up and putting all that weight on in between these fights. I don't care who you are, what fighter. It's just no good. AA Boxing and Blunts in the building. What's good with you, fam? He said if T.O. don't make weight, how everyone blame Lomo. They'll find a way because they're idiots, bro. They'll find a way just because they're idiots.
What somebody needed, Floyd just needs to sit Tank down and make a bag of popcorn and watch Bronx Tale again. Because the saddest thing in life is wasted talent, bro. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah.
I would say if he gets down to 130 and he fights Leo at 130, I'm interested in that fight. I want to see that fight. I think it's a great fight for both guys.
All right, guys. So, in 2020, so for the rest of this year till 2021, when this year ends, the scope of boxing, do you guys think we're going to be in a good state or a bad state? Now, it's a lot of speculation because we ain't seen the first fight yet. But what do you guys think? Sean already giving me the thumbs up. What do you think? We're going to be in a good state as concerning boxing or a bad state? What do you think? We're going to be in turmoil or on the rise? Smoke?
We're going to be good. We're going to be great.
The return of boxing, I think it's going to be excellent. I think it's going to be everyone's going to be very excited. Boxing fans have already, started to hold their nose and go over to UFC, for the betting, for the action, for the distraction. But, people love boxing. They are beside themselves. So, yeah, I'm sure it's going to be amazing when it comes back.
Yeah, well, the UFC. Speaking of that, I think I'm actually working on a video for that. They're in a little bit of They have a little bit of issues over there. But Johnny boy, what do you think? What do you think? Boxing's coming back. How we looking, Johnny boy? How we looking? What's up, Jay? I see you, fam. What's good with you, Johnny boy taking another piss. Sean, drop it on the Sean. What you think, man? How we look? Boxing coming back. What you got?
I think we're looking great because the big fights that don't happen in 2020, they're going to slide over to 2021. So we're going to have great fights to look forward to early in the year, and that's always the best thing, right? I mean, when fights are early in the year, you're super enthusiastic. You start the year in a big boost. That's what the PBC always does, right? Usually they stack the beginning of the year with a lot of good PBC cards just to sort of really boost like public opinion early on. And ESPN generally does the opposite. Usually they finish the year in a big way. So, I mean, because of this, you're going to just get a lot more glut of fights, throughout like November to probably February, March.
Yeah. I said that a while ago too. I think mid to late fall, that's when we're going to start seeing the real action back. So,
the next 12 months going to be hot.
Yeah. All right, guys. So that about wraps it up. Unless someone has another topic, I just wanted to really talk about the state of boxing. Coming back, just something different to talk about, guys. Like this is what I'm gonna do on Speaking Mind Sports Talk Live Daily. We're just gonna talk about different stuff. Like different topics, something different, bro. Not Teofimo's talking shit and this guy's clout chasing and Deontay Wilder's an asshole. We already know Deontay Wilder's an asshole, right, Smoke?
Who is it?
I'm just fucking with you, dog. But y'all give me some closing thoughts, man. Give me some closing thoughts. I'm getting ready to shut it down.
No, man. Yeah. I think when the heavyweight division's on top, boxing has been good. It hasn't been this stacked with talent at the top, and with these kind of intriguing fights for a long time. Very excited about it, and that's throughout. The 154 pounds on fire. 160's got a lot of stuff going on. 168's got some great stuff going on. 140's got great. Like you go all the way down. Bantamweight's got. It's great. It's a great time to be a boxing fan.
All right. Appreciate you coming through, Smoke. Always a pleasure, fam. Johnny boy.
Yo.
Closing thoughts, Johnny boy.
Everybody enjoy the fights tomorrow night. Stay safe out there. God bless everybody with this shit going around. Hope everybody in the chat has a lovely, what's today, Monday? Yeah, have a lovely Monday. Take care, fellas. Sean D.
Thanks for coming on, fam. My man, Sean Newton, give me some closing thoughts, fam.
I agree with Smoke. I think, the heavyweight division is stacked. I mean, I know Wilder just got knocked out in his last fight, but obviously he always has a puncher's chance. He's got a big fight with Fury, the winner of that. Then you have a super fight against AJ, and you still have quite a bit of other guys in there like Dillian White and Usyk and a lot of new young guys coming up, Daniel Dubois. And then all the weight classes, all the way down, right? I mean, down. There's great fights. Like we're talking about Inui going for undisputed, Roman Gonzalez, Estrada rematch. Ioka against Tanaka. Martinez, who's at the lower division, who's becoming a bit of a superstar. There's a lot of great fights to look forward to. I mean, the one thing I was curious about, maybe I thought Neary was a PBC fighter.
He just left, I believe. Well, no, wait. He just moved up. No, I think he is PBC. Luis Neary.
Yeah, but he's on the Navarrete card that's happening in Mexico, the ESPN card.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. And I'm thinking that would be a great potential fight if they're like setting that up. Luis Neary against Navarrete. for 122 pounds.
I would love that fight, and I got Manuel Navarrete. I got who you got in that fight?
I always like Neri, but Neri is one of those undisciplined kind of fighters. But I sort of have to lean towards Navarrete because he's taller, longer. He's got good power. I mean, Neri's a good fighter, but he's always gets checked on his chin, and he doesn't have the best chin. He throws big shots, but he also has his hands down, which makes him susceptible to the counter. So, but it should be a great fight if that was to happen. That's why I saw it, and I'm like, Neri's PBC. I don't understand why he's on that card, but maybe this is why, and that's a potential exciting thing.
And Navarrete is going to come in there and bang. He's not the kind of guy. He has length and height, but he don't utilize it. He gives it up, bro. He gives it up. But he does a good job on the inside, like surprisingly well. Guys usually with arms longer like that don't do as well on the inside. Navarrete does well, and he's a monster, bro. I love that fight. It's a good fight, don't get me wrong, but I think he sleeps Neri. That's just my.
Well, he's probably going to do to Neri what he did to Dogbay.
Oh my God! Both of those fights were awesome too. Both of those fights were awesome. Dogbay he has a lot of heart. Anybody can say whatever they want, and Navarrete was the only person he lost to, right? He beat everyone else, didn't he? Right? So Dogbay had a lot of heart, bro. Yeah. So my man Sean, appreciate you coming back, bro. Coming through. I do this every day at 12 o'clock. Speaking Mind Sports Talk Live Daily. You always welcome, fam. Love to chop it up with you all. And y'all guys know how I always in this thing. For the love of sports. Let's talk about it. Peace.